Hello. Hello, everyone. How are you tonight? So, peekaboo puppy. So tonight, I thought I would use the new Playtime stamp set. Now, in a previous video, we did the bee and the honey bear. So in this video, I want to use the Corgi and the 2 butterfly pieces. And then I think I'm going to use Playtime Everything Else Can Wait, because I really love that sentiment. So we're going to get started with those items. I'm also going to use the Happy Place paper pad that we have. I have a lot of scraps from this paper pad. So here's what I got. All of these. And there's the flip side. And then I thought we would build a background with all of these scraps. And I pulled a few colors of papers I thought would look pretty good with this. So I went ahead and pulled those. So we'll probably use those. Hey Dale. Hey Barbara. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to use these 2 stamp pads tonight. Avocado's a new one I just got at the expo, so I'm pretty excited about it. Hi Tiffany. And then I got a new memento pad. Woohoo! And I put the date on it because I have so many pads floating around here that I wanted to make sure I remembered which one was new. So tonight we're going to use this cute little Corgi puppy, and he just has a little bump for a tail because that's how my little grand puppy Corgi is. Her name is Ahsoka, and so I made her look like her just because it's so cute. So we're going to color this, and then we're going to play with the paper pad and the extra pieces and try to create ourselves a background to use for our sweet little Corgi. Now I'm going to use this standard grip free sticky pad that, well, it's not free. I got it at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. I'm going to use that to hold my little puppy close. So he's easy to color, even though he's already cut out and ready to go. So I'm going to move all my scraps off to the side. I haven't decided if we're going to use just this side or the other sides too. I don't know. We'll see when we get to it. But if you have a bunch of scrap papers like that laying around, grab them while I'm coloring the little Corgi. And you can play along with me. So wouldn't that be fun? All right, so I pulled out a few of the colors that I wanted to use for the Corgi. And I've decided just now at the last minute that I wanted to add another color to the mix. So bear with me. I just added one more color to the mix. So for the light areas of the Corgi, I'm going to do those in E44, 43, 42, and 41. And then for the fur area, I'm going to use E27, 17, 25, 23, and maybe 21. I haven't decided on that one for sure. I might leave that one off, depending on how it goes as we're going through. I'm also going to grab our 12 for ears and tongue. Hi, Ellen. And then we're going to go from there. So this little guy is so cute. He's going to be so fun to color. When we finish coloring him up, we're going to build some butterflies. But I want to build the butterflies. This is the shadow in the back. And then we'll do an outline in the front. But depending on which way we do our papers, we'll decide on what colors other than the green that I want to use for the butterfly. I also grabbed some of this Wink of Stella that I have just laying around here that I thought we would do with the butterflies. So I have those. So now that we have everything identified, let's zoom in, look at his cute little face. So we're going to start with the light areas first because I feel like that is just easier, so I don't pull any of the dark into the light. I like to start with my little red, my little pink for the ears. So I'm going to put that in first. And just a little bit inside those little inside parts of the ears. And then I'm going to just do the tongue in that pink color. And that is all we're going to use the pink for. Oh, I also grabbed a blue B23 for the eyes. I guess we could just do the eyes right now while we're here. So for these eyes, because the pupil part is so big, we're just going to do a small thin line around that black area, leaving a little bit of white there, and we'll probably enhance that a little bit more with the white gel pen when we get to that point. But I just left a little bit of white and a little bit of blue in the eyes just to give them some color. All right, so here we go. We're going to start with E44, and I'm going to give this little guy really light colored paws and a belly. And this lower part of the face, I'm going to use the lighter color. And then the rest of them, I'm going to do in a darker color. Oh, and probably the tail in a lighter color too. So we're going to mark all of those places right now with this shadow color in just the areas that we want to build that shadow. So on the hands, like I said a few minutes ago. And then we're going to work on the belly as well. But this area right here where you can see the lines go squiggly, that's to show like a little bit of fur. So I'm going to make the belly a little bit more smooth than the belly color, a bit more smooth. But I'll make this part look a bit more furry, except for right here. Right here we might give him a little bit more fur. We'll make the belly thinner here, so it won't have as much little fur to it. But the rest of this kind of will. We'll do a little bit on his cheeks over here. And a little bit on this side as well. And then I'm going to kind of feed that light color up here where the darker color will come and meet up with it. So for now, I'm going to start off with just a teeny bit right there. Oh yeah, we want to do the tail too. So a little bit along the tail. There we go. So that gets us started. Are you not on YouTube too? No, I'm not on YouTube yet. I download the videos and then upload them to YouTube after we're done. I still need to learn how to go live in both places at the same time. So I guess I need some education. And I'd like to do some on Instagram too, but I'm only at about 940 people, and you have to be at 1,000 in order to go live on Instagram. So for now, we're just Facebooking it. Okay, so I'm going to extend with this E43 from where I put those first colors and then add just a little bit more. I'll stop searching them and be happy right here. Yes, I know what you mean, Ellen. I'm going to get there. I'm just not there yet. I need to get there. Just going to put a little on the little upper lip. And then, as we talked about, we're going to start feeding this in up a little bit higher So we'll just keep working that with each color. They always look kind of funny in the beginning, so just bear with me. I'm just softening this edge so it doesn't look funny when we put the lighter colors. And then here, I'm going to keep that little brush stroke because I want to keep that area looking a little bit furry and the rest of it a little bit smooth. If that makes sense. If you guys... even if you don't have puppies, or if you do have puppies, some parts of them are more furry than others. But honestly, this is my little puppy, and I can make him whatever I want. And if you have these stamps, you can do the same thing. You can make them furry, or you can make them not furry. You can do whatever you want, because he's your little baby. All right, now we're going to go to E42, so you'll notice the colors are getting significantly lighter because eventually it's going to look a little bit like a tan area. We only have one more color, so this one will have quite a bit more than the other one. And yes, I'm coloring both directions tonight. I guess I'm feeling that tonight. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. So, it just depends on the day. Some days I can color in both directions and some days I can't. So, it just depends. So I'm going to go around the outside with this last color. Just leaving a little bit in the center for that highlight color. This is the underside of the belly, so it's not going to get a whole lot of that light color. This one, I'm not going to go around the outside. I want the tips of those paws to look more white. There we go. And let's see, I think we have to add some right here. I'll probably leave that little center area. I actually just colored it in after I said that. But I am going to add some of the lighter color to that when I get to it. Which is next. I'm almost there. This is E41. It's a pearl white. So it's going to be much lighter. So we're going to keep going up with this one. We'll have to bring this marker back in when we're blending the darker color with the lighter color, just to get that transition. I'm using an extremely light touch here because I don't want to wash everything out. So I'm just adding a little bit of color with a very light touch. Look at that cute little face. So cute. Okay, now for the paws, I'm going to go from the outside edge towards the color because that'll keep me from bringing that darker color down to the tips of the paws. I'm going to actually put some of this right along here because this marker has more colorless blender. It might wash out that color a little bit, which is kind of what I'm going for. Just going to do this over the whole piece and then from the outside up towards the color. So generally when you're coloring, you're pulling that dark color down, and I don't want to do that, so I started from this way and pushed the color back in. I'm going to do the same thing with the tail. It just helps to keep those tips still looking really light. Hey, Phyllis. Thank you. All right, now comes the fun part, and that's where we start putting all the fur in there. So these are soft, smooth, yummy feeling, soft little fuzzy. And then this is where we start building in some texture here. So E27 is going to be my darkest color. So I'm really just going to put this one in my shadow areas. Not a whole lot, but just a few places where I want there to be just a bit more shadow. Maybe over here by the eye a little bit. And probably under the eye, I think I'm going to hold my marker upright and really just get a dark line to really show the separation between the light and the dark coloring. And we'll elaborate on that here in a little bit. I'm going to do up and down on these little paws. There's not a lot of space there, so we don't have to worry about that. I'm going to do very tiny brush strokes. This is how I'm going to start building in that texture. And I'm only doing it on the side where the head is. And then once I get to the areas where he has a little bit of, maybe we'll put a little bit down here underneath where the tail is. And then definitely right here, we're going to enhance that. We're going to go along the underside of the arm. And then I also want to do some just coming off of this fur area. So we should probably do a couple on the other side too. And then this leg is really buried back there, so it's going to be pretty dark. Now, I think I want to add a little bit more like up here at the top of his head. So I'm going to do a little bit right here so I can keep this tuft of hair kind of darker. And there we go. Now we're going to move into the next color, which is E17. And before I do that, I want to check. I think I want to do E25 before I do E17. 25 is still in the brown side. But I want 17 because it has a little bit of a red color, but not too much. So I'm going to start building in a bit more of this fur look here. Coming around, but I'm going to be going over some of this with that red color. So I'm going to go over his eyes. It serves two purposes. It keeps the dark around his eyes, and it keeps like a little fence there so I don't mess up color in the eyes. So I'm going to be just a little careful with that. I don't want to put this brown in the eyes, so I'm going to be very careful. We're going to keep going. We're going to start here, and we're going to just extend out from here with a little bit more brush strokes. We're going to go all the way down his arm, up from the bottom. Then we're going to do the belly. And then we're going to start by doing all the way up this little leg too, and down this side. Just starting to build in all of that little fur look. I'm also going to come in here and do a little bit away from these areas right here. And maybe a little bit here. That'll start building that little ear in there. Alright, I'm also going to do just a teeny bit right here alongside where those sides on his face are, because we're going to have to start meshing that together here in just a little bit. Hey, Mama! Next is E17. So we're going to kind of do the same thing, but add in a little bit of this more red color. So I'm trying to go in between the E25, just to add a bit of the red to it. Up there, I'm going to kind of build that area where his ear is. So right there. A little bit more down here. We're going to extend this up just a little bit higher. Not too much. And then we're going to come around here and try to do these in between where we put the 25. This is just a little bit darker than the 25, and I usually go all dark to light, but in this case, because of the effect that I wanted to give it with a little bit of red in it, we're not exactly following that. I would have, if I was going light to dark, I would have just went to this one and then E25. But I have a theory and I have a reason, and just a little bit of a different, just try all kinds of different things. You never know what you end up with. So E23 is going to be much lighter, and the only one we have left is 21. So 21 will be our blend color, our highlight color, and our blend color. So we're going to start building this area up with this color in both directions. And we'll blend that with our E21, and then we'll come back with our other color as well. But we're not doing it solid. We're leaving some white areas for that last color. Just little areas, not big ones. He's coming together. There we go. You could do these faster if you want your, the less you think about it and the more you do it, the more inconsistent your stripes are, and that looks more like fur than when you're trying to be consistent with what. When you really concentrate, it's harder to be sporadic with your colors. So we're going to need this one, and then we're going to need this one. E41 is the lightest one we used on this, and we're going to need these two to build this transition right here. So this is the one that's going to soften our fur, and this is the one that we're going to meet up so that they look smooth from the light color to the dark color. That is the key. Now I'm going to just brush stroke this E21 in here, anywhere that I have white. And then I'm also going to do it right over top of the pink. It'll soften that pink, and then it won't look so bold. And I'm going to go over this part just a little bit extra because I want to soften that line that I put in there. I don't want it to be too obvious. So I'm going to come over here and do that a little bit more with this one too. We have a little spot over there we got to get. And then we'll do that one, and then we could do this in the back and forth motion if you want. It does make it a little bit easier if you just go back and forth than it is to do the brush strokes all the way. So I'm going to do it twice because I want to keep the color kind of dark and consistent, but I'm not putting a lot of pressure because I want you to still see the fur. So you see all that furriness going on with him? So cute. Those of you who watch me all the time know that I always use my multi-liner to enhance the eyes. I will show you one, and then you will be able to see the difference. So I always go over the eyeballs with black because it really makes them stand out. So if you don't do this, you should, because it is so helpful. It takes a bit to get used to it because it's kind of hard. You just don't want to go outside the lines, but look at how great that looks. And I feel like just in this particular case, we need to do the whole eye. Just like that. And that, doesn't that eye look so much better than that eye? And then I feel like because his nose and his mouth are all black as well, that we should get a little bit in there too. Don't worry if you go over the white in the nose, because we can always come back with our white gel pen and fix that. Now let's do this eye real quick. I say real quick and then look how slow. It does take a bit to get used to filling all of this in, so take your time when you do it so that you don't, I mean, we did all that work. We don't want to mess up our eyes. And then I think I'm going to add just a little bit inside his mouth. I'm not going to outline his lips or anything. I want this to appear darker inside the mouth, not match the mouth. Do you know what I'm saying? You can probably tell just by looking at it. Now, after we do that, we have to allow it to dry, the black to dry. Otherwise, the white gel pen turns gray, and that's not helpful. We want it to be stark white. So what I'm going to do is pick up my little guy off this little sticky mat. He's so cute. And then I'm going to let him dry while we build a background, because I think that is going to be fun. Now, I've only done this like one other time, so I don't really know how it's going to turn out, but I thought it might be very interesting to watch. So let's put him off to the corner. He'll be sitting over there with his little happy face while we work on a background. So what I did was I want it to be matted, so I cut my sheet down to 4 by 5 1/4, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller than an A2 size card. I have one for the inside, one for the outside. So for the outside, I have all these scraps because I made all these cards super fast, and I just kept grabbing a new piece of paper each time, so I ended up with a ton of these. So I'm gonna flip them over. So this is the front side of this one. I have 2 of those. And this is the back side. So I want to see all the patterns. So I'm gonna lay them opposite so I can see them, so I know which one I want to use next. This one has stripes on one side, trees on the other. So here's another piece of that one. Then I have some water. The flip side of that is the beachy scene. So I either have mountains, which I kind of like that one, and then I have water, and then I have Zen. And on the flip side of that, let's see what the big piece looks like. Oh yeah, we're probably going to need those colors in there. And then we have some Zen. And then I have a few of these pieces, so we can do whatever we need to with those. I have a few more of the water pieces, so we'll play with those. One more of these. And then I have this one that has a little bit different design. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to grab my trimmer, and I'm going to trim all the pieces to skinny strips. So these are pretty skinny, but I think I want them to be about, maybe, let's say 1/2 inch. Right there's about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to start trimming a bunch of pieces that are right around 1/2 inch. And then we have what's left over as well, which we're going to keep both of them. So this one I need to be about 1/2 inch. So I now have one on the front. Let's do one at the back. So for now, I'm going to grab just those 2, and then I'm going to take this one and put it over to the side for now. If I need more, I will use it. Then I'm going to take this one and do 1/2 inch on this one. which leaves me a really skinny one. So I probably want some of this, and I like the bright colors on this part of it. So I'm gonna do 1/2 inch here. I like those colors. And then I also like the pink. So I'm gonna do a second one because I want to have all these colors in the background. So I'm gonna grab that one. And I'm just building my little shapes here. I'll put that one aside. Here's tree. So I didn't have much of this. So I think I'll grab 1/2 inch from this side. And then 1/2 inch from the other side because there's blues in there. This is going to be one of those mosaic type backgrounds because how fun is that? Let's cut this side, which is, you know, 1/2 inch again. And then this side, of course, we're going to take 1/2 inch there. And then we'll set this one aside. We already did this one, but I don't think we got as much of the sky as I wanted. So I'm going to add one more of those just because I feel like it. And then we need some of this blue. So I like this area right here. So I'm going to cut here. And then I want to use this side as well. So I'm going to cut here. It gave me a nice little circle there. And I think I'll cut one more of these because I really like this paper. I think this might be one of my favorite pieces. And I'm going to keep that little sliver as well. And then the rest of these I'm going to set aside. And as we need more, we will grab more. Are you guys having trouble? I'm not seeing any comments. Are you guys, I guess I did earlier, but maybe you're just being quiet and hanging out. And that's okay. Okay. So what I thought we would do is just put these across our paper and build ourselves our own design. So it has to lay off of the paper on both sides. And so first I'm going to lay out as many as I can get. I don't want that one to be close by. Maybe I'll pick the smaller Zen piece so I have a little bit more space. There we go. And I'm just kind of picking my pattern first. I definitely want this on there. Maybe I'll slide it up a bit more so I get some of that orange on there. And then I think I'm going to stick in some of these really skinny pieces because they don't all have to be exactly the same. Have you guys ever done this? Have you guys ever played with your extra papers like this before? It's a lot of fun. I add this one here. It's a pretty skinny one, but I don't mind. Let's see, it's a little curved. Let's try to straighten that out just a little bit. And maybe I will use, oh, let's use this one. So we haven't used that one yet. And then up here, I think we need something a little bit more subtle. So maybe this one, since we're right up against two really bright colors. And then maybe I will put this one down here. It's got a really dark blue on it. So you're really looking at the patterns that are on the papers. So I'm going to repeat this one because you'll really just see the really dark blue. And then up here, I think I'm going to repeat this one right on the edge because I think that would cover all of it. You haven't done it like this? I did it once before and I thought it came out pretty cool. So now I'm just going to slide these. And then I'm going to start gluing the pieces on there. And we'll just bump them up. And that's the reason that I cut them about the same width. And I cut them with the trimmer and not randomly because I wanted to be able to place them up against each other very smoothly. Now, yeah, I might get a little bit too much glue or get some on my desk or whatever, but I'm okay with that. So just making sure it's completely smooth. The Barely Art glue gives you a second to bump it up against the other one. So you make sure you get a really smooth piece there. And then I'm just going to keep going. So here's the next one. And you could use the same papers or different papers, but this is how I like to use up my scraps. I mean, you could put them straight across, or you could even cut them in smaller pieces and splice them together. But you can do it as elaborate or simple as you want. But I love using all the paper, so it makes me happy when I don't waste any paper. I mean, I did this with the Comic Universe. That's the only other time I've done it. And wow, the Comic Universe paper with all the bubbles and all the pow wow stuff really made it look amazing. The colors were so vibrant and loud. And I think it would work really good with our Let's Celebrate paper pad too, because it's got really vibrant, pretty purples and blues and pinks. But I thought this one might just look like a lot of play fun with the puppy. So I thought this one might work best. It looks like I didn't cut that one like straight, but I'm okay with that because it's going to give it just a little bit different look. I'm just rubbing it to make sure that it's flush with the one above it. And then this one doesn't cover it all, so I get to add another one in here. So I need one more. So I'm going to grab from my scraps I had over here and try to get something like, well, that's the same one. So maybe a tree, and maybe let's put it like this, where you can see a bit of the tree, but not all of the tree. And then you can always use the excess from this for another one. It's kind of like a puzzle. You just do it however you want. This last one, I'm just going to add the glue on the square. And I want this blue part of that design. Stay still. I love the Barely Art glue because it works really good for this kind of stuff. And you can tell it's smooth because this slides right across. Get up there. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to pick it up and flip it over so I can add the rest of these. All right, so this one's next. And you could just put the glue on here, but whatever floats your boat. Whatever is easiest for you. I like putting it on the paper, even if there's some glue, excess glue that hangs off. It doesn't bother me. I know it's not going to permanently stick to my desk since I have a glass mat. And honestly, the glue just kind of rubs off. So if you get any on your desk, you just rub like this, and then it just comes right off. So you don't even really have to clean. You're all done. It looks nice so far. You like it? I like it too. I like using it because it gives you such a different background. Who knows? Some people may like it, some people may not. You never know. But I think it's fun. And you never know what it's going to look like until you're done. So you might as well just try it and see what you think. I mean, these are scraps anyway. So you didn't really have a whole lot to do with them. So you might as well. I'll put this one on the paper. So you might as well just use them up. I think I really want that, a little bit of that lime green there. So I'm going to put this one all the way down there. And then I have a teeny spot left for a little piece of this paper. So I think I'm just going to cut off a little square because that'll make it easier. And I'm going to place it right here in the corner. So now the whole thing has paper on it. And it kind of looks like a mess right now, but it's very smooth. Now, I'm going to flip it over, and you see the back is a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm going to trim this right along the edge of my paper. I already cut this white paper to be the size I wanted it to be for the card. So all I have to do is trim the excess off. Now you could always use those for something else if you really wanted to, but I'll just chunk mine. Or maybe the big pieces I might keep. Now, are you ready to see what it looks like? Here we go, the big reveal. Ta-da! Isn't that cool? It looks so much better than it did when it had all that excess hanging on it, doesn't it? It gives you a really amazing background. Now, this one you could just put sentiments on it and you could be done. I think I want it to go this way so that this pretty blue and stuff is up at the top. Here's where my glue stuck to my desk, so I just rub it and then swipe it off. And it's all good. So let's see. I knew there was a lot of brown in this, so I was thinking I would mat it with the brown, but I may change my mind. I thought the best thing to do would be to put this as my base color for my card because it's neutral and it's just kind of the perfect one to use for that. And then I'm going to put the white card on the inside. This is the other white piece I had handy. Now, you could even make that background and put it inside a shaker card if you really wanted to. It's pretty thick because you've added so much paper to it, so it feels very sturdy. Let me just stamp this while I don't have anything on the front. Just want that to dry. And then either brown or I could do blue. I kind of like the blue. I think I'm going to go with the blue. So now I'm going to trim the blue down. So if I did it if I did the white card 4 inches and the base card's 4.5, we're going to go right in between at 4 1/8. And then this one the card base is 5.5. The white card was 5 1/4, so I'm going to go up 1/8 and trim that off. Then we'll just have a little bit of 1/8 around the edge. Blue makes it pop. Yay! I think so too. Hey, Susie. Yeah, we just built the background together. It's really fun. You can use all your excess paper. And I like how this one turned out, but I might do one more before the end of the video to see if we change directions of the paper. Like, what is it going to look like? I'm going to sit this up on the brown so I can see the edges because it's hard to see blue on blue. And I want to make sure I get that lined up really good. And I only have 1/8 of an inch. So if I put it on top of the brown, I can see a lot better where my line is. And that makes it, I'm a little bit off. So I'm going to lift this up, slide it over just, there we go. All right, so now I'm going to press it with my press pop. And I'm going to do it on both sides just because we glued so many papers. Now, in order to make this really fun, we're going to pop it up now. Oh my goodness. I got to reach real far for the paper. These are foam sheets that I got on Amazon. So I'm just going to cut one about the size of the base. Look, I'm just eyeballing it, you guys. Because, you know, that's kind of how I roll. I just sort of lay it over there and lift it up and pick a place to cut it and hope it's rather straight and I'm good. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to take this off and place it on here. So now we have this space. I like it. Now we're going to do the butterflies too. I just didn't get that far yet. Look at how cute he is. I think he should be running on the chocolate piece right there. Is perfect. We will attach this, but not yet because I want to do the butterflies and I want to wait until the butterflies are on it before I attach it with foam. Okay, so let's do some butterflies. So I was thinking I would do green and lime green, and I think that's actually going to be a really good color. So I have this excess piece of paper. Yay, I'm so glad you guys like it. And we have to do the sentiment too. So I have this extra piece of paper. I have these two VersaFine Clair colors, Rainforest and Avocado. So whenever you're doing this two-step stamping with these stamps that you get, a solid background and a design, do the lighter one with the solid. So I'm going to use this lime green, and I'm going to do a couple of them just to make sure in case I don't line it up exactly right, or it's a new ink pad, it's a new ink. I want to make sure I get like a full coverage. So I'm just going to do a couple. There we go. That one did much better. It does look like an avocado. It's so funny. Okay, so I only needed to do about 3. I'll probably only use maybe 1 on the card, but I wanted to show you how to do it. Now this one on the other side of my block is the one with the designs. So we're going to stamp right over top, like that, right over top, with the darker green. So I'm going to go over this with the darker green. We'll do it on this one that I messed up a little bit first, just to see how well we line it up. Perfect. All right. So now we got to do the other two. A little bit easier if I'm not looking through that one. Okay, so I'm just lining up the bottom of the butterfly with the bottom of the butterfly here. Once you put it down, that's where it's going to be. So don't pick it up and move it. Just once you line it up, just eyeballing it. Once you line it up and put it down, you got to leave it. That's where it's going. So look at how pretty that is, and I think that's going to match great with our background because we have just a little bit of lime green up here, and we're going to put our butterflies up here. So I think that's a good color. I'm pretty happy with that. We need to do a sentiment as well, and I think I'm going to stick with the same green colors. So I think I'm just going to do this in the dark green right here. And then we'll just cut it out. Ta-da! I love these blocks. I get them from Sassy Club. I really love them. I really do use them a lot. They make me happy, happy, happy. All right. So I think my favorite butterfly is this one in the middle. And it's pretty easy to cut out, so I'm just going to go around the edge. I'm okay with the white around it. I kind of like that, so 99% of the time I cut it out with the little white border around it, but you don't have to if it's not your thing. You can cut it directly out. I'm going to do just a little bit of a tuck in where these, if I can hold on to this, just a little bit of an indent right there just to show the butterfly little antenna separated. I'll put a little bit down here, and then I will just go up the side of the butterfly. And I was trying not to touch the ink, but I think it's pretty dry now. So that worked out really good. I like that. Wait till you see how we're going to pop that up a little bit too. And then I'm going to use my big scissors because I seem to be able to get a much straighter line when I'm cutting with the large scissors than when I cut with the small ones, because it's one clean stroke. I think I'm a little bit off, so I'm going to adjust that just slightly right here. There we go. Now we have, oh, we have too much on one side. We need to cut this off too. Just so our words are close to the edge. So that makes me happy. And then why not, because we used blue, why not border this sentiment as well? And I can eyeball all that too. I'm not going to get my trimmer out for that. I eyeball a lot of stuff. If you don't like to eyeball it and you want to use your trimmer, you can certainly do that. But the Barely Art glue lets you slide it around so you can kind of get it right where you want it. I usually do two sides centered the way I want, and then I'll just cut the other two. Because it's just easier for me that way. There we go. All right, here we go, here we go. I want to put the toppers on there first, so I think I'm going to pop this up as well. This is my tag. Sentiment. I think it'll look good popped up. Let me make sure this is, yep, it's perfect. Oh, wow, I did that perfect, huh? Good at eyeballing. you're terrible at cutting straight edges. It takes a little while to get used to it and to get better at it, but I've done it so much that I just think it's not that hard for me anymore, and it's just as easy to eyeball. I mean, I can cut it crooked with a paper trimmer, so might as well eyeball it. It's not going to be any worse. So I'm going to stick this up here. There we go. And then I'm going to put, I'm not going to pop him up. I'm going to just put him on the paper. And I want him running on the chocolate. I think it looks like chocolate syrup. And I like that. Now for the butterfly, I'm going to grab, I have some very small little squares that I can pop up with, and I have two different sizes. So I have thin 3D, so it's thinner than the regular ones, and I'll show you the difference. So you can tell that these ones are much thicker than these ones. So what I'm going to do is put the thicker ones at the top of his wings and the thinner one at the bottom. So I'm just going to grab one of these, thinner down there and thicker at the top. So when I put him down, let's flip him over. He will be a dimensional, so he will be flat here, and then his wings will be up a little bit higher. So maybe you can see it better if I can hold on to it. Slippery little sucker. See, there's a big difference. So I'm going to put one more thin one on this side to really hold that little guy down. I knew that was going to fall off my lap. That was the paper trimmer onto the floor. And I think I want to put it over here, or maybe over here, like he's chasing a butterfly. Yeah, let's put it over here. I think that'll look really cute. I imagine him chasing the butterfly. That's why they're in the directions that they are. So this is flatter than this, but this is about the same height as that. So that works out great. Now I do have, we need to do our white gel pen, and I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I have some Wink of Stella. Chasing it is really cute. I have some Wink of Stella, so I want to put some Wink of Stella just inside the bubble areas of the butterfly, like just these inside pieces, and maybe that heart up there. Oh, I might as well do the dots too while I'm at it. You don't want to leave them out. And white gel pen. So we need to do a little bit on his nose, these little eyes. I want to make him just a little bit bigger because he's so happy. You can put a little bit on his ears, you know, because why not? We'll put a little bit on his tail. So cute. Now we're going to take this off. And I'm going to stand up when I do this just because I can eyeball it better standing up. And look at all the beautiful colors on that background. If you need to, you can put Barely Art glue over the sticky just to make sure you get it centered really well. But I'm going to eyeball it because that's kind of how I roll. All right. Look at that. How cute is that? And And I happened to get some really cute dots this weekend. They're the expensive ones, the Swarovski or however you say that. But I got green and blue and silver. And I thought the green would be perfect on here because it'll really sparkle and shine. And I really want it to. So I'm going to grab my little tidy tray. I'm just going to put a few of them in here. I don't need too many. And then the little grid lines inside this tidy tray, you can shake it and it'll flip your dots over. See how it starts to flip them all over? I have enough. So, and then I'm going to grab my picker tool. And I'm going to put a couple of these. I'm going to put one here and one here to start off with. And then I'll decide from there. These are really sparkly, so they're going to really stand out on this card. Now, I put a lot of glue. Don't worry about that. It dries clear, so it will be totally fine. You don't have to worry about that. You can't see the sparkle. Maybe if once I pick it up, you'll be able to see it. But the cool thing about this tidy tray is you can pour whatever you don't use right back in your bag and seal it up. And you don't have to worry about losing any of your gems. And there we go. So that sparkle doesn't do justice on camera, but it is very sparkly. Very, very sparkly. Look at that. Can you see the sparkle on the wings? Oh, there you go. You see the shiny sparkle on the wings of the butterfly? It's so cute, huh? I love it. I hope you guys like it. Look, it just looks like he's out in the middle of the world having fun. So, is there anybody who popped in late that wants to see us try to make this background in a different direction? Like instead of the diagonal, maybe we try it. I want to do it, so I can do it on camera or I can do it when we get off camera. Do you guys want to hang out with me just a little bit longer? What do you think? Anybody up for that? Let me know. Otherwise, I can say goodbye and see you guys on Thursday. And I can play with it when I'm offline. Unless you guys want to do it again. You want to see it again? You'd love to see another one? Okay, let's try it. All right. So, I love this card. It turned out so good. So, here's another one. And let's make this one just a little bit smaller so we can see the background better. The matted one. So I'm going to take this down to 3.75 by 5. And that way we'll have a little bit more space for the background. So I may make some of the strips a little thinner so we can have a few more. So let's break some of these into smaller. So I'm going to go about half the size I went last time. And I don't care if they're really straight or not. And I'm just going to cut a bunch of them, giving me a bunch of different colors. So there's a couple. And I may need more just because it's so tiny, like it's so thin. But I like all these colors. I'm going to cut this one in half and we're going to use both of these. So one's a little thicker than the other and that's okay. Hey, Tamara! Hey, hey, hey! We already did this, but we already did this process once, but I wanted to try it again with a different design. And some people wanted to stick around and see what it would look like if we did it different. So we're just rolling with that one more time. I'm trying to look for the different pieces. So this one, I think I'll cut in half. I might need a few of them. Maybe I'll put this one somewhere in there too. Let's see, what else do I got? Oh, I got this good one with lots of colors on it. We'll do this side so we can see some of the pink, because why not? There we go. That one might be good right there. Let's cut another one of these. I really like this paper. I can't help myself. I think that water paper, this one, and this one are my favorite papers in the pack, I think. I really, really like them. Let's see, I think we haven't done this one yet. So we need this one. And now I'm just eyeballing my strips. I'm not even measuring them. And I think we could use another one of those too, just because. Why not? All right. Let's see. Do I have all the colors? I don't have any trees. Do I? No, we need to do trees. And then I think other than clouds, we pretty much did all of the things. So I'm going to cut a little bit off on this tree where we have sky and clouds and trees and all right. Okay, let's see if that gives us enough pieces. Do we want to go this way or do we want to go this way? I think we should go this way. We're going to go straight up and down instead of diagonal. So I'm going to start, I like to start in the center, and I want my Zen to be in the center. So I'm going to start in the center. You could put tape down if you didn't want to do the whole glue thing, but I think I'm okay with the glue thing. But those are other alternatives you can try if you want. Yes, so many beautiful papers. I probably should have grabbed some of my other papers because I have lots of spares with these. And you could even cut your papers. Like, let's just say, for instance, you cut your papers like this. You could put them on there like that too. And then you just meet up the other ones and you would have all like different shapes. So they don't have to be all straight like this. You can do them however you want. There are so many options. So many. So many. I think you should try it and then you should share your try with the group. Do a post and share your awesome backgrounds. These are definitely a quick, easy background. Well, maybe not so quick, but definitely easy. You don't really have to think about it. Just cut your paper and then bump it up against the other paper and you're good to go. And the bright, vibrant colors really make it pop. So I just lay it down with the Barely Art glue and then just push it up against the last paper. And I'm just watching as I go, trying to switch the colors up a little bit. So I know I have a bunch of brown ones, so I want to put some brown in here, like every couple of pieces, just to keep that pattern going. And then I think I will use this one next. And I might need more papers than I thought. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I could do this all night. You could have a fun crafting session just creating backgrounds. Yes, exactly. And all I'm using are my scraps. These are all scraps from cards I made. So no paper gets wasted. It's just whatever was sitting around that I was going to use. And I'm a little crooked, but I don't really care. It's totally fine. It doesn't matter. It's not the point. With the designs, you won't even notice. But I think it's because I cut them. I just cut them. I wasn't measuring them. So this one seemed to be a little thicker on this side. And so I put them on there like that. And maybe I'll just grab this one since it is the diagonal and just stick that on the end. I think that would be cool. So let's just do that. This will be our last piece on the end down here. This extra one that I cut up showing you guys what it would look like. Very smooth. They all bump up against each other. They're perfect. All right, top side, top side. Let's go with this one. No, we need a green one. Ooh, let's do this one. Oh, I love this one. That one is perfect right there. And then we'll do this one. No, let's do this one. We'll do this one. Ooh, we should do that side. We haven't used that side yet. This side with the mountain. It looks a little wonky right now, but it's not gonna when we get done because we're gonna cut the edges off. So we'll need a couple more pieces of paper probably. There we go. We'll zen this one on there. Up against there. I would make a card with ephemera, but I used all my ephemera for the... I used all my ephemera I had for the cards for Cubs. So I don't have any left. I'm going to cut these two and use two from these. We'll just cut this in half. And this one, just going to cut a sliver off of this one. I think I'm going to use a bigger piece of this one at the end. All right, here we go. I think I'm going to use this one. It looks like a mess when you're doing it like this, but you just don't know how good it's going to look until you're completely done. Because you just can't tell. Let's put this one. And then we'll end with that tree. I think that would be cute. Put this one on there. Let's move it over a little bit so the green is in a little bit different spot than the one below it. I think this one will finish it off. This kind of stuff, it's so mesmerizing. You can do it while you're watching TV. I love doing this stuff. Just making sure I got a good hold there. Then we just cut off the excess. Right up against that. All right. Side number 2. 3. This is number 3. I have just a tiny bit at the bottom. Not too much, but I am going to cut it just so it stays the right shape. Okay, are we ready to see this one? Here we go. Ready? Ta-da! That is so cool. I don't know which way I like it better. I don't know. This one, I kind of like that blue that we had. I think I have some other extra papers. Hold on. Let me grab one. And at least we can have our card base done. And then when we get ready to color something else, we can put it on there. All right, so these are the ones I have handy. I have purple, which doesn't look half bad, actually. I have this one. I kind of like that one. How about yellow? I like the green. Yellow. I like the yellow. I like the yellow. I think I like this one. Not purple. That one doesn't show up quite as well as I thought. Would you say? Or maybe red? Here's red. The red's kind of neat. The green? You like the green or the red? The green. Green. You like the purple and teal? Me too. I like the red. The red's not bad because there's flowers that are red. The red is not bad. So what about maybe that? Or, I mean, you could do the brown. I mean, these are just half pieces, but oh, my fingernails sometimes don't work well with me. But this color and this color would be really pretty, I think. Like that. I think I like that. Do I have any of that paper cut? Yes, I do. All right, so we can make the card base. I don't have any images to put on it because I don't have any ephemera. I used it all. But at least we can put it together. All right, so now we'll cut this. The red does pop. It is nice and bold. That is true. Let's see. I'm going to pull it out one more time. Give myself one more look at it. 4 by 5 1/4 because we made this one a little bit smaller. So it's a little easier when you can see that didn't cut quite as well as I would like. So I'm just going to trim a small sliver off of there. This, yeah, I think I like the red too. I think I really like the red. So I think I'm going to switch from brown to red. I think red was a good choice. And red will make it exciting to come up with an image to color for that. You know? Let's do it and see. And then I'll just have a card base ready for next time. For whenever I need a quick one. Yeah, sometimes you just need a quick card. You guys, we could make so many shapes with these. And you saw how quick it comes together. All you need are the scraps. And we all have scraps in our craft room. We know that. And I don't think I'll pop this one up. I think I'll just put it flat on there. I think you could use it in a shaker, but I think you'd have to use a solid shaker mix because I think it would be too overpowering with too many different colors inside your shaker, you know? There we go. What do you think? I love it. I do love it. You can put any color you want in there. Look, so here is diagonal, which worked out good because he was running that way and I knew he was jumping that way, so that's why I chose to put the paper that way the first time. But this one's just as good. It almost looks like a bridge when I'm looking at it, even though there is no bridge. It kind of makes me think bridge-like. But you should try it. Do it with your scraps. Like, I had a thing this thick of these scraps, and now look, I just have a few. So now I just have a few. I always keep them if they're, you know, fairly long and have some, I don't know, what do you call girth to it, I guess. But once they get to be about this small, it's just keeping track of them is kind of a pain. I'm going to keep them tonight because I'll probably make a couple of more of these after the video to use up the rest of the paper. But that's what I do is I save these papers. I put them in here in the back. Well, I saved those two as well. But I put them in here in the back, and then when I have time, I make backgrounds. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you like it. I hope you'll try it because it's really fun. And the change of the paper makes the change of everything. I mean, it just completely changes it up. So I think it's fun, and I think you guys should try it. Don't forget to come back and join me on Thursday night at 8 Central for something new, crafty. I don't know what we'll do, but something. We'll have lots of fun, so make sure you come back and join us on Thursday night at 8 Central. If you're watching this on YouTube as a replay, be sure to like and subscribe so you can help grow the channel. Thank you so much for joining me and watching tonight. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad you guys wanted to see the second one because I really like it. It even would look good like this. Your card opens like this. So you can do it either way, whatever way you want. But it definitely gives you a way to use the rest of your scraps. So have a great evening. Love you guys. See you on Thursday. Good night.